some weirdness with it last semester, and that weirdness is catching up now. So it's just like, I'm just going to uninstall it and just start fresh on that.
Okay, I'm going to share this other screen and see if I can get it to work. It is not a big deal because we're going to be looking at this much more next week, because that's why we have all of next week to work on this. So what my plans are, if our plans come to fruition, is Monday we'll talk about it a little bit more, and then we'll break and let you guys get into your study groups again and work on it, and we'll see how things are going Wednesday. If you need that time to continue working on it or not, you might be able to just get it out of the way that fast. All right, did Visual Studio open that fast for you guys? I'd opened it before. And she did it. Did it? Not too bad?
It was just doing performance.
You guys are just so far away from the network over here.
It took forever for mine.
Did it open? Well, we just wanted to do something really fast. We'll see if we can. Obviously not.
What are you open project solution, by the way, and it crashed.
Oh, good. Well, good. Well, we want to find out what the problems are. For Monday, so I'm glad we're
Don't try and open a project or solution. This is all you need, right?
Just look at it.
Admire how pretty it is.
That's right. Bask in the glory that is Visual Studio. It's like, oh, signing down on you. Can you open anything? Try to create a new project.
Well,
and we want it to be a Windows Forms project, if you're able to do that. We have about half the people in and half just kind of stuff.
I'm just not even going to try it. Just going to have to look over somebody's shoulder.
Yeah, this is what Zoom is good for.
Yeah, you can watch.
This is just like a practice thing, right?
Right. Yeah, we're just thinking about picture boxes and how that class could be a good base class for us for our die class. So. Now, if you have Visual Studio open or you're just staring at it, trying to open, let me swap this so we're our Zoom session. Let's see, how can I? Sorry, they've got the projector on a different screen than they did last semester, so I'm having a hard time adapting.
The thing to understand about Visual Studio, from my experience with it so far, is that it's a little bit like Skyrim. It's an amazing piece of software, but you also can't expect too much out of it at the same time.
Well, and once you've got it open, you want to keep it open. So let's find some dice images.
What a pleasant, gentle way of putting it. There's a reason the unofficial patch mod is the most popular mod for Skyrim.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Not even one.
Now we want to find some dice images. I have a question for you guys. If you find dice images and you found 6 of them like we need and you've got them all set up, and you run into a problem with the program, you're not exactly sure what to do logic-wise, should you go ahead and spend like 10 or 12 hours modifying the dice images to put roses on them and stuff? Is that a good way to spend your time? No, it's not.
That's the perfect way to spend your
No, it's not.
Worry about
You wait till you're done with your code and then worry about trying to make those images have roses on. Now at work, it might be good to spend all that time, but for us, it would be kind of hard. Okay, so find some dice that you like, and let's get them downloaded and saved. I see this one right here has free dice and gambling images. Oops, I'll find some more. I want some free ones. Right now, I haven't changed my settings to look for ones that are public. I'll go ahead and do that. Let's see where they run into search settings.
You have to figure out the logic yet, have you? It wouldn't work on D20.
Which one is it?
Usage.
There it is. I swear, when they've got that filter modifying it, I just can't find it.
And then you have to decide which one are approved.
Now let's see if any are usable.
I mean, also worst case scenario, you could open up Paint and make it work too. Nothing wrong with that.
Let's see which ones we want. I know these red ones are a full set of dice, but there's some. So I am looking at the one that was Pixabay. We could do this either way. Let's see if we can. I don't like it. I think I'm going to go with set of dice images. See if I can find one.
If you could you take like one image and then use basic Photoshop skills to kind of cut it in?
Oh, sure. And I could take those ones.
Extra work, but
Yeah, I could take the ones that were, here's a dice set, and I'm on Shutterstock. So just find something today. It doesn't matter if it's good, bad, or in between. I just want you to find some pictures. Now, I'm going to see if I can save these. Oh, I want to download them. It's going to make me sign up. I'm sure I have some somewhere. Wasting time. They're all going to take me back to the. Anybody see any that are good?
If you could add face to the view search.
Oh, okay.
That's
Dice face images.
yeah, that helps a lot. Actually.
Thank you all. That's perfect if you guys see this one. Now, again, you might not want these images, but that's all right. We can download this zip file. I'm going to try it, and I know you may not like these. That's okay. And I'm going to open this zip file, and then I'm going to extract. And extract all. Because remember, we can't have our images in a zip file and pull them into Visual Studio. Now I'm going to see what I've got there. I don't know if Visual Studio will like that. We'll try. Let's create, I'm going to create a new project. And I want this to be a Windows Forms app. And I'm going to call this Dice Sample for us. And I want to import all those images because I want to see if that file format, that SVG file format that I've got here, is going to be something that Visual Studio will accept. So if you remember, we want our images to go into our resources folder. So we've seen all sorts of different ways that we could do that. The easiest way at this point when we don't have anything on our form is to right-click on our project or use your project menu and go to Properties. In our Properties, then, we can click on Resources to see our resources that are part of our project. We don't have any right now. So up here in this toolbar that is for the resource editor, I'm going to change it from strings to images. And then I'm going to see if I can drag and drop some of those in there. Let's see, I've got I think I'll use dice 6 faces because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See if I can put those in our project. It seems to be taking them. So some really important things for us to remember. When we're working with images or resources like that, we want them to be in the resources folder of the project. We don't ever want them to be out on our file system. Now, sometimes we have to. If we were going to let the users change these pictures, we might have to have a specific file location where we told them they could update those pictures and we would read them from there. But that would be the only exception. In general, we want to keep it in our properties folder. We saw we could get to that properties folder if we add a picture box on our form, but we can also get to it through our project properties. Okay, so now that we've got those in our resources, let's see if we can actually use them. We can close our project properties window. It looks like I'm closing the whole thing. I'm going to cancel and just click on my form design because I don't want to do anything weird at this point. All right, so in my toolbox, which is initializing, uh-oh. Mine took that long. I don't know how long yours will take. Did it pop right up? Is it going to go? So under all Windows forms, we should be able to find that picture box control. I'm going to grab this picture box and put it on my form. Now that I have it on my form, I want to add one of those images to it. I can use this quick access task tool to choose my image. Doesn't look like it liked them, does it? You want to save? Let me save. Where my properties are. It does work for you? Great. I'm not seeing them. Let me see if I can. It's not showing them to me now.
So you have to put it on all files instead of only like JPEG.
Yeah, I just don't think it's going to read them if you put it on all files. Did it? Did it? We might have to just grab an image and we'll get some dice images for next
You go to
time.
the same website, you can switch that top to PNG.
Oh, that'd be better. Let's do that.
There should be an option.
There it is right there in front of my face. Thank you, sir. Now for the PNG files, again, I'm going to show the folder and extract all of them. And I'm going to find those same 6 again. Give you guys extra practice here. I'm going to go back to my project properties. And I could just import them here, but I want to use my properties screen. And I'm going to delete these. We would not have any sort of file name conflict because they have a different file type, right? But I still would think it would be very confusing for someone else to look at. Okay, so I want to find the PNGs. Again, I'm going to select them all and drop them into my resources file. That should be much better. Thank you, Cole. Now on my form, I should be able to choose image and see all of my die faces. Yay. So I'm going to pick die number 1.
Looks a little bit big.
It does. So we could change that size mode. So zoom. That looks pretty good. We could make it a little bigger if we wanted to. So there's our dice. I'm going to run this application.
Crashes. Not in our network.
Mine worked.
Can't even run it.
Can't even run it. Now, it should be working. Now, what I want you to think about at this point is in our application, we're going to need to dynamically create these picture boxes on the form, aren't we? We're not going to be able to, if we preload them, we have picture box 1, picture box 2, picture box 3, picture box 4, picture box 5. We're going to have a lot of redundant code that's unnecessary. We could do it, it would work, but it would be redundant and not necessary. So we really need to figure out, how could we do this in our code? Well, let's look. We know that whenever we're looking at our project, our form designer code is what's generated by Visual Studio. When I look at this form designer code, this part here that's collapsed, I'm going to expand it. And as I look, I'm going to see all of the code that it took to create that picture box. So right here is my picture box 1. Here's where it sets the image property to the resources file, occurrence. Then we set its location on the form, the name of the control on the form, its size, that zoom size mode, our tab index, all those kinds of normal things. So here's us setting up all of the information for our picture box. Right up here at the very top, we create that picture box instance. Then we set its properties, and then somewhere down here, we have a field there for it. Is there more down there? Yes, there should be. So in this statement, we are like initializing our form to say that that picture box is on it. So let's copy this. What I want you to copy first is this very first line of code in our initialize component method. This dot picture box 1 equals new windows.form. Let's copy that. And I want to put that in my code. So I'm going to go back to my form. And I'm just going to double click on a blank spot because I want this to be part of my form load. I'll just display that picture box in my form load. So I'm going to paste that code there. Now this is going to have to be picture box 2. Now I need to add some more. And can I take this out? It's saying you don't have a variable. So that's okay. We'll get that taken care of as we go. So let's go back to our form designer code. Look up at the top and see if there was something. Nope, 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 nope. So the next thing that I want to copy is all of the settings of the properties. Because I'm not sure why it's giving me an error, but I'm going to be able to figure that out. So I'm going to copy the property setup, and I'm going to go back to my form load and paste it. And I want this to be picture box 2 for all of these. There it goes. And then we saw the last thing, the last piece of code that mentioned our picture box. We see some other stuff down in here. Now, looking at our form 1, notice that we draw the form and then we add our picture box to it. So I want to copy that line of code. Make sure you find that particular line. where we're saying add a control to this form. Because the control we're adding is that picture box. So what I want you to think about here are lots of things. But basically that you have the ability to look at this code now and determine how you could do this yourself. Let me put this in. And again, I want this to be picture box 2. So how can I get rid of that error that it's saying it doesn't know what it is? Did we say it's a picture box? Do I have it spelled right? And I'm going to get rid of it.
You need the this anymore?
Yeah, I don't think we need the this. It should be okay though, but it doesn't like it.
Well, that was fine
Yeah, now it's okay.
with the other.
Because the this means the form, and we're trying to add it to the form, so it's kind of at a confusing spot. So I'm going to get rid of the this prefix on all of them and add our picture box 2 to our form. Now I want to leave the this on the controls.add statement, but get rid of it for the parameter specifying our picture box. Now, to make sure we're displaying this properly, let's change some of these property settings. Let's make it be 6 faces 2 instead of 1, so we display a different image. And I want it to say picture box 2 is the name. And we need to move it. We need a different location. So we're just going to have to experiment a little bit with our location to see what works for us. We didn't really do a lot of analyzing of our images, right? As a good art person, we would know how many pixels wide that image was, and we would be able to do some calculations. But we're going to have to kind of do some experimenting to decide what we like best. I'm just going to try, let's see, what do we have for our size parameter? If we're not sure, we can look at Visual Studio, at our form, and I could look at my picture box and go find the size parameter and see that, oh, width is first. So how far across on this form do I want this image to start? So for this one, let's try 260. We're starting that first one at 113. So I'm going to go to 260 and see what it does. And I'm going to leave the other setting the same. Let's see what happens. Yay. So we got to move it over just a little bit. It's getting cut off by that first one. So we're going to slowly develop the skills here that we need to make this a really nice app. So instead of, you know, I got it to work, we want this to be, I used classes, I made sure everything was just really nice and I'm making a really good application. Because as we move away from some of this stuff, we won't be back to our Windows Forms programming for a little while.
I have a question. What is the benefit of moving it out and not just adding another picture box? Like, how would we do it?
Because we want to control it in our code.
Okay.
Because we want to dynamically, since we're going to inherit from that picture box element, we want to be the ones that display that in our code. So we don't want it to be stuck in the Windows Forms generated code.
So would we want to do that with picture box 1 as well, correct?
Right.
We're just using picture
And
box.
what we would do is we want all these picture boxes to be in our all die array. So we're going to want our code to loop through that array and create a picture box control on the form for each of those dice. So that's why we want to do it dynamically, so that we can just loop through that array and create those controls. Plus, then you guys will know how to do it. So I'm going to do that too. We're out of time. Let's go. Great.